Welcome back, Inebri-art. Is Andy here as always, and today we are joined by Canadian musician Rebecca Foon, who's got a new album, Black Butterflies, out on is it Magnolia Records? Is that
Yeah, exactly.
yeah? So welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. It's so
Yeah,
it's so wonderful to be here. It's
and
nice to
and
meet
the
you.
album's out now because you're just saying that you're on tour.
Yeah, I'm actually on tour with a different project right now, but it came out, I
Oh,
guess,
okay.
last about end of October.
Okay. So, well, thanks for taking. Is it when you're on tour? Is it do you feel like stuff like this is more or less inconvenient? Like, do you have downtime that you're just looking to kill, or is it?
Well, it's actually I'm finished. So this is
Oh,
I'm
oh,
actually off to New York this morning, so it's perfect. I slept in, ordered room service, and talking to you. It's great.
nice. Yeah, I don't often get a day off, and Sunday, there's a restaurant near us that does brunch kind of in the off season, like we're very, like a heavy tourist area. So they started
Yeah,
their brunch up, and my friend's like, let's do brunch. So I did brunch, and it just like the whole day was like brunch, a couple of drinks, and then nothing. Like I did nothing. I
that's so
relaxed.
nice. I love
Yeah.
it.
And it's I don't do it often, but when I do it, it's just like, yeah, I did nothing. I did a load of laundry. I think that was the most,
Perfect.
you know.
Perfect.
So are you like looking forward to kind of winding down from this tour? Is that
Yeah, I think, to be honest, not winding down because I have my album launch shows coming up in New York and Montreal, and this album is very different than anything I've ever done before. And so there's a lot of prep, rehearsal work, and tech work, and just like gear work to figure out to
yeah?
get the show up to speed. So, and I'm singing a lot more than I've ever sung before, so I'm trying to get like my voice up to speed and, you know, just get it all together. So,
What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge in the difference between like how you toured before?
well, it's pretty simple in a way. Like this set, I'm honestly like super excited about it because it's so different than anything I've ever done. It's like unleashing all these like new ideas in me and new desires. And so, um, which is, I think, really fun. It's like refreshing, to kind
Mm-hmm.
of get out of your bubble. And so your self-created bubble. Anyway, so I'm, so because this album is, there's minimalist beats and I'm singing on top of them and then there's tons of strings. Um, the biggest challenge for me is kind of figuring out uh, like the singing with the electronics, with the cello playing. But I have a band that I'm putting together. So I have a great band and very lucky to be working with such incredible musicians. And um, so it's going to be another challenge and an exciting challenge to kind of put it all together with them
Yeah, that's some of my
and
favorite
sing with them.
projects. When some of my favorite projects is when we do stuff and you're kind of like, I don't really know. This is what I always
Yeah,
say.
I don't know
People like,
what is going to happen.
people like, how are you going to do that? And I go, that's future Andy's problem.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
when I'm on the day, I'm like,
We've
past
got a
Andy's
cool
an
challenge.
yeah, I'm like, past Andy's an asshole. But yeah,
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
I
exactly.
kind of like to figure that out. There's something really fun and like I love to push that boundary of like, and I've even said to my business partner, I'm like, all right, so like we've gotten really used to doing the podcasting and we kind of know what we're doing. And, we have three different shows. We have a fourth one coming out. I'm like, let's do video. Let's do something that we don't know how. So then we kind of like, all right,
Yeah.
well, let's figure this out. And why is the aspect ratio wrong? And, oh, right, we probably should have charged the batteries ahead of time, like just all these like dumb things that you kind of figure out along the way.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
totally.
it's my
Hilarious.
favorite thing to do is it just yeah. And then, I mean, sometimes it comes out where you're like, yeah, that's not our best work, but we learned a lot, you know?
100%. Yeah. But I think it's really important to push your own boundaries and keep expanding as a human being as the world gets crazier.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. I mean, that's a great way to put it because it's not even just necessarily art. It's you know, I think people should be like, oh, I'm gonna go try. You know, uh, is it this new place opening up near us? That does is doing a Nepalese food,
Oh
Nepal
yeah.
food from Nepal,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
So cool.
So
Yeah, you gotta go.
yeah, so I kind of love that openness to new experiences and like living life. That's really,
Totally.
I think too many people shy away from that sort of thing.
Yeah, like because it's that thing of comfort, I guess. Like it's nice to be comfortable in life, and especially I think in today's world where it's really hard to know what is going on and what will happen. And so the idea of comfort creates some sort of, it's like the opposite of being human because we're alive. We know that it's a finite time on this planet. And so like the idea of being comfortable, it's this kind of fake idea that you're like everything is going to be static and you got it under control.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can kind of break free, and I think you can think of that in a creative way or a musical way or just a life way, if you can break free of this idea that like comfort is actually, the whole idea of like putting yourself in a box is kind of an illusion, then you can free yourself of the fear of trying new experiences.
Yeah, I mean, it's like comfort is almost like stagnation. Like you're
Yeah,
not
exactly.
moving
You
forward,
you
you're not
stop
moving back.
expanding.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, like I said, I took Sunday off. You need that day to
Yeah.
kind of, you
I
know,
think that's different than, I guess there's different definitions of comfort. But yeah, there's the idea of kind of just like making everything in, putting yourself in a like a gated community of your own being
yeah,
versus just self-care.
yeah. I suppose that's
Yeah.
true. That was a self care day, not. But and it's one of those things just with your job, like where you get to tour, you kind of have no choice but to kind of put yourself out in these new experiences and new towns and
Totally. Yeah. I don't know. Something happened to me over the last couple of years with just life going by and seeing, losing some special people in my life. And I just started to feel like, let's just go for it. Like it's such an amazing experience to be alive. And I want to like embrace it for all that it is. And that's kind of what led me full circle to make this album because, my background is, I was in punk bands. I was in, just I've done a lot of instrumental neoclassical stuff and a lot of instrumental projects. And this is much more like dream pop world and
yeah,
maybe like a bit of trip hop or lo-fi hip hop beats. And um I uh I just was like ready to totally embark on something different and not worry about too much about what people think. Because like when you worry about too much about what people think, you kind of freeze yourself, I think, into a certain mold.
yes,
And and maybe that works. Maybe if your mold is really awesome and you're super happy with that mold, great. But I think I was like really needing to try some new things and just even break out of a new identity.
yeah,
And it doesn't mean that I lose my old identities. I still like right now I'm on tour with another project that's all neoclassical music, like modern or new music. And I love that. But love I love doing not only that.
yeah. It's you mentioned, kind of being moved to do something new or out of your bounds because of losing someone. And it's funny, I had this conversation last night with a friend who's going through some troubled times, and I was kind of like, well, you can't be upset because you made the effort, you tried. and
Yeah.
and I had mentioned how like I made my first attempt at owning my own business after my father passed away, because it was just like,
Yeah.
oh, life doesn't go on, let's.
Yeah, life does not go on. I know. It really actually, so when my mom died 2 years ago, and of like a pretty brutal death in terms of it was cancer, and it was like a not a nice way to go for
Yeah,
a particular kind and outcome. Um, but the it's such a spiritual lesson. It was such a spiritual lesson. It's continually evolving the lesson. It's not like,
hmm
oh, I got the lesson, now I'm good. But um just in terms of the fragility of life, and that it just kind of feels like a dream. Like I remember when she died, the next morning I woke up and I was just like, whoa, like my time with my mom was a dream, but on earth.
yeah,
And then I'm stuck with that feeling with everything. I'm like, oh, my life in this band is a dream, or my life with my relationship with this person is a dream. Like it's here, but I know it'll go. Like it's so every moment is precious.
yeah, yeah. I lost my mom to cancer as well a few years back, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
the weird experience at that point, it was kind of like, I think that's a moment when I kind of felt like an adult, because like
Yeah.
at that point, like both my parents had passed. So you're like,
Yeah.
oh, now
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
the grown up.
Yeah. I don't have a parent to go to
Yeah.
anymore to talk
So,
about all my problems.
but yeah, and it's I was much closer with my father, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, but kind of like that. You're talking about like a dream, and then to me, it's always like I want to remember him for the great guy that he was.
Yeah.
So I don't want that memory to be bad.
Yeah.
And so, like, I made this thing. So every year on the anniversary of his death, I sit and I will text. And people are now, the first time I sent this out, people like thought it was like a cry for help. And they're like, oh my God, are you okay? And I
Yeah.
just sent out this text to like the people who are most important to me and be like, hey, it's that time of year again. I just want to, take that second to be like, I love you. You're important in
Yeah.
my life. And just, honor his memory in that way. Cause like, we were father son, like never really kind of had that relationship, where you'd be like, I love you,
Yeah.
dad, so it's just like, well, I'm not going to miss that. And so it's just kind of like, I'm honoring and remembering him that way, and because I don't want it to be like, he passed away around Christmas. You don't want Christmas to be
Yeah.
sad. So it's just kind of
No,
like,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, and Black Butterflies actually comes out of this kind of conversation because the idea of like a black butterfly, it's like a winged one, but it's black. And so there's a bit of like remorse, maybe, or like sadness, but also angelic.
hmm
And black butterflies are known to be uh, kind of symbolic for spirituality. Um, and this idea that like what is on the other side, like what is it to be alive, and what is consciousness, what is um energy, and like what happens to us once we die, and what is time, and like how does like the idea of like quantum physics um fit into it all in terms of like past, present, and future, and the notion of time and our relationships to ourselves and each other. And maybe there's like a lot more going on than we really even can begin to understand in terms of spirituality and life and death, and yeah, and channeling, and what is like making music and art and channeling, and where do these ideas come from? Because I really don't believe that it comes from us. You know what I mean? Like I don't believe that like it's my idea or like I
Oh,
have this thought and like
okay.
it's mine and I'm really smart. I don't really believe in that.
So where do you think the music's coming from then?
I believe I'm kind of on the David Lynch side of things where like I believe um in a collective like a what did he call it, like a field of creativity of consciousness, um and that we're all these living organisms in relationship with each other and all sentient beings on the planet. And I believe that all of us are interconnected. And so all our ideas are interconnected. And even though, like, obviously, like this world is so divided, and so we can
Is it?
have
I hadn't
such
noticed.
polar opposite ideas. But I
Uh,
think if you dig into it, I think we're actually very interconnected and kind of breathing, almost like a mushroom analogy of like,
that's funny. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Kind of like those filaments that kind of like connect all mushrooms together. And
exactly. I think
yeah,
we're all like, we are all part of that um, tributary of consciousness. And so I think together, all life on Earth, but also everyone that's been here and everyone that will be here connects with that pool. And so when we get ideas, all I know, and I don't like, I don't have like strong opinions about this, like, because obviously it's pretty out there, but all I know is that, like, when I am relaxed and when I meditate and kind of let go of my ego
hmm,
and then open myself up through whatever practice that I have to open myself up, um, the ideas that come feel much more pure and enlightened than
yeah,
like me trying to force something and pretending it's like my ego being like, I am so cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't really, and then also I just choose to take this philosophy, whether it's true or not, because I think it's a much more peaceful and beautiful way to live. Because I think a lot of our problems come from, um, like, say, greed, violence, inequality, inequity, all of it, grasping for like, I think all of that comes from a space inside that's operating from fear and ego and this belief system that like I am maybe better than somebody else, or
yeah,
like I deserve more because I am more smart, or I contribute more to the planet, or whatever it is. And so, and I think that whole concept is very dangerous. And so for me personally, I'm actually, it's like an active practice of trying to shift as much as I can out of a kind of capitalistic, ego driven um, conceptual framework.
yeah, yeah. I
I'm
mean,
just not very interested in it. I don't think it's a very, like, we're all in it because we're
mhm,
in a capitalist society, and it's like, how do you get out of it? But like, I can, I can I can train myself to kind of reshape my wiring to think more collectively. Does
yeah,
that make sense? On an energetic
yeah.
level, on a
It
creative level, on a, yeah.
like me personally, I don't necessarily believe in like that we're all connected, but there's really something about that kind of that times when you're trying to think of and you know the thing and you're like if I can just
Yeah.
stop my brain from trying to think about
Yeah.
it and like my
Yeah.
best ideas come in the shower like when I'm just
Yeah.
zoning out and
Totally.
relaxing and like I've kind of separated all the bullshit all the thoughts like and you kind of quieted your mind and I was telling you earlier that we ran our first concert
Hmm.
this summer and so it's like you're always worried about like cost and making sure everyone's getting paid
Yeah. Yeah.
and I keep telling people I'm like I came up with this idea and I feel really stupid saying it came to me in a dream but like I woke up and the idea was in my head like I
And what was the idea?
so we did a punk show on a mini golf course
Cool.
and
I
so
love
like
that.
it was so much fun it was a lot of fun and um so like literally like this the second my eyes opened, I was like, oh man, like if I was running a charity golf tournament,
Yeah.
every hole would be sponsored by a business.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we sponsor the mini golf holes?
Yeah.
So we had
Right.
like sound studios and a pizza place, and one guy's just like,
Oh,
I'll
cool.
sponsor a hole. I'm like, for your, for your music or whatever. He goes, no, just me. And and so it alleviated, I think it pretty much covered the cost of the sound guy. We didn't
That's
no, so
so cool.
it was really last minute, so we only had like five or six hole sponsors. But I'm like, oh man, next, like, if we can
Yeah.
do the whole course, we'll cover a huge amount of our costs. So
So cool. You
yeah,
could build it up and do it every year.
yeah.
Amazing.
So I think we might be doing like a little mini tour this coming year
So,
because it was so much
so
fun.
cool. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Brilliant.
But yeah, and it's just like I don't know where the idea came from because I wasn't thinking about it. I was asleep, and it just
Yeah.
like popped into my head, and
I love that.
it's learning to kind of shut off some of that noise. So to
Yeah. And to relax. Like, I do think helping yourself, guiding yourself into relaxation helps create that space where like ideas can just come. Because when you're stressed, it's harder to, you know,
yeah.
find that kind of realm.
And it's funny, like I find, when I'm painting and drawing, that I'm
Yeah.
very relaxed. Like I like
Yeah.
that's another
You
spot where my
kind of
brain can
have
shut.
to be,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But then I talk to some artists and they're like, no, I'm really stressed out about whether it's coming out right. I'm like, I think you're doing it right. Like to me,
That's
I'm like,
funny.
that's the most like relaxing time. Like, are there time?
I
I mean, I'm sure there are stressful
I paint
times.
also. Yeah, I
Oh, do
do
you?
watercolor painting and I love watercolor because it's you can't control it.
That's why I'm kind of like deep sighing here is I've been kind of on this path of trying to this past few years where I was trying to control everything and I wanted everything to look
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
And then I started doing like ink washes and single line drawings and now scribbly kind of drawing. And I'm just trying to let go of that need for perfection.
Yeah.
And I feel like my results are getting better.
That's so cool. I love
Yeah.
it.
But watercolor
I
still
think that's
kind of
great.
like stresses me out because it's especially
It's
when you do
funny,
like
like
wet on wet, because then you're just like, I don't know what's gonna
yeah,
happen.
and then you're
Yeah.
like, I love this, and then it
Yeah.
dries, and you're like, wait, that's not what I painted. Guys, help me out here. But then you're like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah. But do you find
Ah.
like when you're writing music that you are kind of in that zone where you kind of shut those thoughts off and
When I write lyrics, yes, it's so weird with lyric writing. And I know other artists, I've heard other artists talk about this, where like, um, you'll write and all these lyrics that come, you kind of let yourself go like creative into like the subconscious world where you just let words flow out of you and then write songs from that space.
yeah,
And you think, you might know a little bit about what it's about, but you don't fully know what it's about. And then, but you really like it and it's touching you and it's bringing up ideas and, but then like you record it and then life goes by and then you're like, holy shit. Like, how the fuck did that come out of me then?
yeah,
Because all this stuff happened. And now it's like it feels like it's talking about that stuff. you know,
for
so
sure.
that definitely has happened with Black Butterflies for me. And I know like I've heard so many interviews with artists that have spoken that way about songs. And so that's another, I think that's really cool. And
You got me thinking. I'm like, it'd be really interesting, and I'll have to like look into it because I feel like someone has to have done this, but like it'd be really interesting to see someone, either an artist or someone, a musician, either playing or, writing lyrics
yeah,
to see if their brain activity changes.
right. I'm sure.
That'd be
Yeah.
really,
And if it's linked to like what your brain is like when you're asleep, having vivid dreams, or I don't know. Be interesting to
I'm
map out
not,
different brain.
I don't dream much.
Really?
Usually if I dream, it's because of stress. It's like stress
Yeah, I
induced.
know. I don't like stressful dreams. Prefer
Um,
not to dream in
well, they're more
stressful dreams.
weird. They're just like
Yeah, for
very
sure.
strange, but it's usually because life is stressful.
Yeah,
Um, like
and it's coming out in the dream world.
yeah, like I and I'm sure I dream, I just don't remember them. But oh, the whole time my ex-wife was pregnant, like
Yeah.
I had crazy dreams. And I think it was just
Wow.
like that
That's
unknown and
interesting.
stress. And yeah, I mean, they were, I mean, like one was like watching a movie with like credits and everything. And I'm like, this is,
Wow.
yeah, it's
That's
just,
amazing.
yeah. Um,
Wow.
but then it's also one of those things, if I don't talk about it, like the second I wake up, it's gone. And like I have
It's
vague,
well, I love that
yeah,
story of I think if I have it right, it was Michael Jackson that was dreaming and he had a song in his head and he woke up and it was like 3 in the morning and then he called his manager and was like, I need to get into a recording studio right now because I have this song. And the manager was like, dude, it's like 3 in the morning. I don't know if I'm
yeah.
gonna be able to pull that off. And it's like, no, it has to happen right now because if it doesn't happen, Prince is gonna get the song.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah,
I
that's,
know, it's so wild, right?
yeah,
But that's that idea of kind of collective consciousness and that there's these like, that we're all kind of have these antennas into like a large pool that we're all creating
yeah.
and we catch things. And
Interesting.
maybe we don't catch if we don't act on it, someone else will catch it. It kind of makes sense if you look at the world because like say like titles of albums and bands and books and you businesses, you name it, like almost everything is taken, it feels like. So we got to go into like special characters and numbers,
Yeah, the
like,
number you do
yeah,
without vowels, and yeah, we
yeah. So
one of our podcasts, the one of the founding hosts was like, I want to do a show like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm like, you want to be on Star Talk? He goes, no, I want to do Bar Talk and talk about bar and
that's
restaurant life. And we're like, that's
amazing.
great. So like we created the show, and turns out there's like five of them called Bar
Oh,
Talk.
that's really funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right?
yeah,
So like what how does that work? We're
yeah,
obviously, speaking the same, some kind of similar language, even if we're all speaking different languages, but like there's something going on.
yeah. I mean, there's only so many words, but it's
True.
and it's
But also you could say that about humans. There's only so many types of humans, but we keep creating all different types of humans.
yeah, yeah, true. And like I have had friends who are like, oh, I have a cool idea. I was working with this girl, and she's like, I have this idea. I'm tired of my pillow being hot when I sleep, and she's like, I want to put an ice pack in it. And she's like, I even
Oh.
have a great name for it. I'm like, what? She's like, the Chillo. And I'm like, that's funny. And like 3 days later, she sends me a picture because she sees an ad for it.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
so funny. That's
So
amazing.
then it's almost like, wait, did I think of that or did I see the ad?
Chill.
Yeah. So I mean, brains are just so weird and like
Yeah.
and unreliable, and it's
Yeah, like
crazy.
thoughts. Well, I'm really in a phase right now where I'm curious about like I love the mind, I love critical thinking and reading and language, but I'm also really interested in energy and the energetic realm and how they can come together and what it all means.
Yeah. Yeah, and those don't always overlap well,
Yeah,
you know.
totally.
It's interesting. I tend to be a very hard science, linear thinking. Like I'm like not
Yeah,
the energy spiritual person, but
yeah.
like sometimes I'll be talking to someone and I feel like, oh, they totally align with what I'm saying. Then they're like, and then I am part of this religion or whatever. And I'm like, wait, what? How
Whoa.
how do you kind of bridge those two gaps?
Two worlds together. Total.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's but I think the important thing at the end of the day is that you can have that conversation with that person and at the end give them a hug and like go about your business.
Yeah.
And
I think the world
it's
needs as much of that as possible.
yeah. I just feel like people don't even oh, I wish I can't remember. It's like someone said it, so I don't want to steal the quote, or I'm not even going to quote it right, but it's like they're not listening; they're waiting for their turn to talk. And it's like
Yeah, totally.
you really need to and part of this podcast is like really, I learned to listen to people just because I don't plan questions. So if I'm not listening,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not going to
can't
have a
answer
follow up.
questions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
it,
interesting.
is there that kind of thing when you're writing music? Like, do you write music by yourself or with other people?
It depends on the project. So like for this album for Black Butterflies, I have a producer that I work with that I've been working with for years. And so we would structure a lot of the songs together in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I would write the lyrics and the melodies and the um yeah, like the string arrangements. But then we would like edit it together and, you know, put kind of put it all together and make them into actual songs. So that so there's a lot of co-writing going on the
So I feel
producing
like that
level.
you'd have to have that, like you need to listen as much as you're trying to play your part, where you're to get them.
Yeah, well, totally, because like for Black Butterflies in particular, there's like a lot of electronics going on, right? Like there's beats and there's repetition going on and cello loops going on. So like I would, play cello to a bunch of stuff and then there's a lot of editing that
Yeah.
needs to happen. So we would edit together. Or his name's Jace Lassick. He's amazing from the band Besnard Lakes, beautiful musician. But he would also like, you know, we have a real kind of like brother sister relationship. Like, and it's very we trust each other and we kind of know how each other can like find the best version of themselves musically in a
Mm-hmm.
space. So like sometimes I would go off and let him edit. Like I would play a whole bunch of stuff, we'd record it, and then I'd let him edit. And then I'd go off and like work on lyrics and melodies for the next round of recording. And then we'd come back and he'd show me what he'd done. And then um, and it might be like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, this is amazing. This is amazing. Can we do this, 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 this? And then he'd like tweak it. And then I'd go in and then record vocals. And then he would comp them. And then I'd listen um and be like, actually, I don't like that take. Can we do it again or whatever? So
That
it's
has to be an amazing amount of trust. And now I understand why you like watercolors, because that's kind of that like, oh, I'm gonna relinquish some control. And
oh yeah, but it
yeah.
makes it a lot more fun and a lot easier. Because if you are like super micromanaging everything, first of all, it's a bit irritating for people, I think, that are working with you. Second of
I've been
all,
told that.
second of all, it can take forever, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. Anyway, so I'm really interested in the power of collaboration when you find the right collaborators. But I
It's
think what's important with collaboration is you have to be able to trust each other and be committed to finding the best version of each other and
mhm.
supporting the best version of each other. Because I think when collaborations go sour, a big part of it is if people don't feel A, respected, or B, like people are kind of not recognizing their strength.
Yeah.
And so are like trying, you know, shooting all these ideas at them that are not their natural way of finding ideas. And then it's like, it creates, frustration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes that could be cool, but sometimes it can be not so great.
Yeah, it depends on where the frustrate is. It frustrating because you're trying to push yourself and not quite getting there, or is it frustrating because you're like, this other person's just not listening to what I'm saying, like it.
Yeah.
So there's good and bad frustration.
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, if I'm going to collaborate with people, I'm collaborating with them because I think they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I want to feel their essence on the record. Like, I don't want it to be me dictating their every move. And then that's what's on the record. I want to hear their like, I want them to shine and I want to hear what they're capable of. And I don't even know totally what they're capable of. All I know is that I think they're really talented
Yeah.
and I'm in awe of their talent. And that I also am so deeply grateful that I get to collaborate with them.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely at a point in my career where like every single person I work with, I feel that way about. Like I work a lot with my sister and she's a prodigy. Like she's a prodigy violinist. And I'm so grateful and so lucky that I get to work with her. And um we also have like a psychic connection,
Yeah.
which is something I've never really experienced before because we've only started collaborating very intensely over the last, say, 5 years. And it's wild to like have such a crazy connection that way, but also she's just so gifted as a musician. She's like literally one of the best musicians I've ever met. And I'm just so grateful for that, to have that
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah. I've in the past, few years, I've done a couple not quite full murals, they're kind of on the smaller side, with my youngest.
Oh, cool.
And it's just such a fun, experience because
Yeah.
they're he just turned 21, so it's like they're an adult now, and they're
Yeah.
so much like me that sometimes that's a little irritating. But like, we're kind of like giving each other a hard time and just like focused, and it was really it was it's like hard to put into words like what like I've worked with other people before and had fun,
Yeah.
but this is just it's so different, when it's just
Yeah.
like you're so close
Cool.
already. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. And then they have to give me shit about stuff and I'm like, uh
Exactly.
you know
Oh,
uh,
hilarious.
yeah, no, they're and to see their work mature, and that's
Yeah, exactly.
you know
So cool.
it's a wild experience. So
Yeah, I'm sure. Amazing. So
um
beautiful.
so we can make sure that the PR people are always happy. Where can people go to get Black Butterflies? I'm assuming it's on all the streamy stuff.
Yeah, it's on right now. It's on all the vinyl's not out yet, um, but it's on all the streaming platforms. And I'm doing two shows coming up. One in Montreal. Do you know the band Bad Bad Not Good or Colin Stetson?
No.
Both
Bad, not
great
good.
bands. Yeah, it's a Canadian band. Um, Great band. And Colin Stetson, I think you would love him. He's an amazing saxophone player.
Okay.
Super heavy, and he basically like does all these layers on top of layers at the same time through like circular breathing.
Oh,
And
that's
does
I played woodwind instruments, and like that is I am so impressed when people can do that because
yeah, it's
yeah.
nuts. He did the soundtrack for Hereditary. Did you ever see that film?
No.
Anyway, he's amazing. I've played with him over the years, and so we're playing a show in Montreal, and then I'm going to play National Sawdust in New York, and my sister's going to open actually.
Oh, that's
That'd be
cool.
great. As
Yeah.
well as Nathan Schramm, who's an incredible viola player. He plays with this group called the Taka Quartet.
Okay.
They did an album with this woman, Carolyn Shaw, or a couple albums, I think, who won a couple of Grammys.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nice.
amazing musicians.
So one thing I didn't get to ask you, you mentioned you were in punk bands. Were you playing cello
Yeah,
in the punk bands?
yeah,
That's awesome.
totally. Yeah, my
That's
very
fantastic.
first band in Montreal was called Queen Size Shag. It was an all girls punk band, and then I was in Silver Mount Zion for many years. That had a lot of punk influences. Um, kind of offshoot of like Godspeed You Black Emperor. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know them.
No.
But anyway, yeah, Montreal projects.
Montreal's got just like such a cool music scene. We've interviewed so many bands out
Oh,
of
really?
there. Yeah,
Like
and it's
who?
out.
I'm just curious.
The one that jumps to mind is Teki Teki.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
totally. My
and
the bass player in my band used to play in that band.
oh, really? Yeah. And it's just
Yeah.
such a like, it was such a fun interview because I'm like, wait, like you're with the Japanese? I hope I'm getting that right. It's been a while. I'm like, but you live in Montreal and you play like California surf music, and they're like, yeah. I'm like,
It's
that's the
so cool.
weirdest combination
It's
ever.
so cool. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and God, now that was the one that just jumped to my mind because it's such a unique band. But
Yeah,
there,
absolutely.
it just seems like a very cool music scene up there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and we have a great music scene, but unfortunately, there's a lot of I shouldn't say it's unfortunate. It's the way of the world. It's a lot of cover bands and tribute bands. Like there's just people aren't as willing to go see someone doing their
Oh,
own stuff.
interesting. Wait, where are you right now?
So we're kind of based out of Plymouth, so like southern Massachusetts.
Yeah,
But there's Plymouth has this weird like music thing where right around like Plymouth Rock and stuff, there's a ton of restaurants, so everyone has music. So there are
yeah,
gigging musicians that play 5 nights a week and barely leave Plymouth.
right.
Um, and then there's like this other segment of like kind of up and coming musicians that are doing some really great stuff. And then it's this other
Yeah.
segment that is like weirdly where older musicians go to retire.
Wow.
Like one of BB King's touring bass players lives there.
So
Um
cool. Wow,
the lead
amazing.
singer of Striper
Beautiful.
lives in South Plymouth. So it's very like vibrant, and I don't know, there people
Yeah,
just seem to be
cool.
attracted to there. So
Love it.
yeah, it's a great place for music. But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I wish. Oh, where can people go to find out the dates of those shows and get tickets and whatnot?
Yeah, like on my website, or you can see it on Bands in Town, or yeah, those
Okay,
are two good spots.
cool. Is it just
Yeah.
RebeccaFoon.com?
RebeccaFoon.com.
Awesome.
Exactly.
So, Rebecca, thank you so much for taking the time. I know
Yeah,
we've kind of
thank
held up your room
you.
service, but
Oh my God.
uh,
It's been so wonderful talking. It's so lovely to meet you.
yeah. And
Great
please,
conversation.
anytime you have stuff to promote, please feel free to come back. We'd love to have you back. So,
Amazing. I hope you enjoy the album.
yeah, thank you so much. And listeners, make sure you check out Black Butterflies available now. Vinyl coming soon.
Yeah, in a little
Some point.
bit.
Yeah, yeah. Google stuff. You'll find out when it's out. And we'll see you guys next Monday.
Amazing. Wonderful.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at inebriart.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at inebriart.com. So thanks again for listening.